Putin's war of attrition has transformed into something far more sinister, a grinding machine that is not just targeting Ukraine, but consuming the Russian state itself from within. In 2024, Russia crossed a horrific milestone. It became the deadliest year for its forces since the invasion began. Investigations by the BBC Russian service and the independent media group Mediazona confirm that at least 45,287 Russian soldiers have died. These aren't anonymous statistics. They are names gathered from obituaries, cemetery records, court filings, and social media tributes. But this number, harrowing as it is, only tells part of the story. Analysts believe the real figure could be 2 to 3 times higher. Bodies left uncollected on the battlefield, families never informed, deaths never acknowledged, all part of a quiet strategy to suppress the true human cost. According to Mediazona's analysis, Russia may have lost over 260,000 men since 2022. And here lies the deeper tragedy. These men are not trained soldiers. They're welders, truck drivers, teachers, and prisoners. In the rural regions of Bashkortostan, over 4,800 confirmed deaths have already been recorded. Nearly 40% of them had no prior combat experience. Many were coerced into service or lured by promises of payment and citizenship. The government's silence is deafening. There are no state funerals, no televised tributes, only the quiet expansion of graveyards, tracked via satellite imagery by investigators like Bellingcat and ISW. Graveyards that stretch far into the countryside, fresh mounds marked by wooden crosses, many without names. In early February 2024, one event underscored the staggering cost of this war. On the 20th of February, at a training ground near the front lines in Donetsk, 65 soldiers of the 36th Motorized Rifle Brigade gathered to receive medals. Just as the ceremony began, a Ukrainian HIMARS missile struck the site. All of them, including Colonel Ramil Musayev, were killed instantly. The Russian Ministry of Defense said nothing, but videos and interviews with families gathered by BBC and Radio Free Europe tell the grim truth. Some of the dead were medical students, welders, even a physical therapy instructor. This wasn't an isolated case. Reports from Reuters, The Guardian, and CNN confirm the consistent use of meat wave tactics, human waves of lightly armed infantry sent against fortified Ukrainian lines. This strategy, once used by Stalin in World War II, has been revived by Russia's commanders today. But unlike the Great Patriotic War, there's no patriotic fervor, just desperation. American analyst Michael Kofman, speaking with War on the Rocks, called Russia's 2024 offensive strategy uncoordinated, unsupported, and unsustainable. He noted that poorly trained convicts and reservists are being deployed into complex urban assaults without artillery cover, armor, or even basic air defense. One especially brutal front was the battle for Avdiivka, where Russia reportedly lost more than 11,000 soldiers in just 3 months for a few kilometers of devastated land. Each village retaken is a ruin, not a victory. For every square kilometer captured, 27 Russian lives are lost, according to open-source data. But perhaps the most haunting figure comes from a broader calculation. Every month, Russia loses an average of 10,000 soldiers on the front. That's the equivalent of a small town being wiped out, over and over again. And yet, the Kremlin's machinery keeps moving forward, not because it's winning, but because it must appear to be winning. The regime thrives not on military success, but on illusion. The illusion of strength, the illusion of progress, the illusion of purpose. Each flag planted on ruined buildings is broadcast on state TV. Propaganda triumphs are declared. Meanwhile, families in Dagestan, Buryatia, Tatarstan, and the Russian Far East mourn in silence, afraid to speak out. Journalists like those at Novaya Gazeta and Meduza have been silenced, exiled, or jailed. Independent reporting from the front lines is now a criminal offense in Russia. The social cost is spiraling. Russia's birth rate is plunging. Rural towns are emptying. The economic toll is growing too, with estimates from Bloomberg Economics suggesting the war has cost Russia over $211 billion as of April 2024, including losses from sanctions, oil revenue drops, and military spending. Yet, despite this catastrophic price, Russia continues to mobilize. The most recent conscription rounds have widened the net, sweeping in older men, students, and anyone deemed fit to fight. What remains is a grim reality. This is no longer a war with a clear goal. It is a slaughter masquerading as strategy, a fight not for territory, but for television, a war of optics, not outcomes. Putin's government has sacrificed hundreds of thousands not to conquer, but to delay defeat, and to maintain the illusion that Russia still commands strength, even as it bleeds out internally. This is Russia's hidden death toll, a war without victory, and a nation crumbling behind a veil of silence.